on Guttage of Interchange between governments and populations. Here's an expanded version of the paragraph. In this episode, we are going to delve into the fascinating phenomenon of on-governance, particularly focusing on the intricate dance between governments and populations. Governance refers to the mechanisms, systems, and institutions that allow for the effective management and allocation of resources, as well as the provision of public goods and services to a community or population. The on-governance aspect highlights the increasingly interactive and interdependent relationship. As governments attempt to deliver public goods and services, they often find themselves engaged in a complex dialogue with the people they govern. This dialogue can be shaped by a range of factors, including economic conditions, technological advancements, demographic shifts, and societal values. Let's take the example of healthcare governance as a case in point. In the United States, the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare, aimed to expand health insurance coverage to millions of previously uninsured Americans. However, the law's implementation was influenced by public opposition and debates around its constitutionality. As a result, the Obama administration engaged in extensive public outreach and dialogue to educate the public about the benefits and features of the law. Similarly, the current COVID-19 pandemic has brought about a heightened awareness of the interconnectedness between governments and populations, with policymakers forced to respond rapidly to emerging crises and coordinate efforts with public health officials, medical experts, and other stakeholders. In these scenarios, on-governance refers to the process of active engagement, collaboration, and problem-solving between governments and populations, aimed at delivering better outcomes and more effective public services. Let's dive deeper into the intricate dance between governments and populations, using this medical analogy as a framework. In this organ-like society, the government serves as the heart, pumping life-giving oxygen in the form of services, regulations, and institutions. Just as the heart's pumping action ensures that oxygen reaches every cell in the body, a government's role is to provide the foundational structures and frameworks that allow populations to thrive. This oxygenation can take many forms, from the rule of law and public safety to infrastructure and social services that support education, healthcare, and economic development. For instance, a government might invest in building roads, schools, and hospitals, allowing individuals to live healthy, productive lives. However, this oxygenation is not a static event. It requires constant attention and adjustment to meet the evolving needs of the population. Just as the heart's pumping action must be balanced by the kidneys filtering out of waste, governments must also navigate the complex process of managing waste in society. This waste comes in many forms: environmental pollution, social inequalities, and corruption, to name a few. Populations, in turn, play a crucial role in this filtering process by holding governments accountable for their actions. When populations feel their needs are being neglected or their rights are being trampled, they can respond in various ways: through politics, protests, or simply by withdrawing their cooperation and trust. In this sense, the relationship between governments and populations is a feedback loop, where governments provide services and populations provide feedback, which in turn shapes the government's actions and policies. To borrow another medical analogy, the relationship between governments and populations can be seen as a delicate balance between circulatory and nervous systems. Just as the circulatory system carries life, giving oxygen to the body, while the nervous system carries information and responses back to the heart, governments serve as the carriers of information and services to populations, while populations provide feedback and responses that shape government policy. This interconnectedness is what gives our society its dynamism and resilience. allowing it to adapt to changing circumstances and grow over time. But when this balance is disrupted, when either the government or populations become too dominant or overbearing, the entire organ can become dysfunctional, just as a weak heart can impair the entire circulatory system. A government that neglects its population's needs can lead to social unrest, economic stagnation, and even revolution. Conversely, when populations become too unruly or disconnected from the government, it can lead to anarchy and social breakdown. This interdependence highlights the critical importance of mutual respect, trust, and understanding between governments and populations, a relationship